Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare again with you on the 3rd of March, 2023. I'm here with remote viewer and psychic medium, Liz Cross. How are you doing today, Liz?
Very well, thank you. Have you adjusted to singing God Save the King now instead of God Save the Queen?
Have I personally?
Yes.
No.
When you stand up every morning and you sing your national anthem as you wake. Don't you spring up out of bed and sing God?
No, and I'm less likely to do it because I think old King Chucky is involved with getting us back into Brexit.
Ooh, you do? We definitely need to do a probe on that because he's supposed to stay neutral now.
That's right. Well, I have a funny feeling he's not neutral, so
we need to do a probe. We'll
have to do that next week because obviously you don't have a lot of time today and nor do I. So this is the last reading of our charts. This is an interesting one. I found some interesting natal data for the UK. Now, obviously, the landmass of the United Kingdom was around before this, but this was a significant thing. And this is 1801. So
1801.
Yeah. So
but the UK is far older than 1801.
I know, but bear in mind that the UK, like a lot of countries, have been through different incarnations, and the one we're currently on sort of basically reverts back to 1801. So, I mean, there's no point looking back into charts into 1100 or 1200. It's pointless. So this is, well, we'll see. Let's see how, I mean, look, this is all an experiment. We don't know. So just want to try this one out as the last one of our readings. These will expand, by the way, because as we get more and more natal datas or dates of first trade, these will, we'll end up doing even more of these lists. So just to let you know. Okay, so I need you to grab the United Kingdom, please, as an entity.
In the palm of my hand. Okay. March 31st. Ooh, trouble at the mill. March 31st, 2023, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's not feeling good here.
Okay. What can you tell us about it not feeling good before I ask any questions?
Everything is becoming more and more expensive and people are becoming poorer. And you can feel it. There's been another rise in inflation. And it's almost like they've got no control over this inflation. Now, I know I say no control and a loaf of bread could cost 500 quid. No, but it's slipping out of the government's hands. It's beyond, it's done. I can feel that very strongly. Things have become, in this month alone, more expensive. And of course, nobody's getting pay rises, really, not to match the level of inflation. Oh, it's the end of your tax year, isn't it? At the end of the month.
Well, the first week in April, yeah.
Right. So this is what I'm picking up on. Council tax is going up for the next year, right? Taxes are increased. That's what I'm picking up on. Of course, it's the end of your tax year. So, yeah, it's not looking good.
Right. Okay. All right. So compared to today, is the overall sentiment for this month for the United Kingdom? I'm going to say up or down or good or bad. It's not really bullish or bearish, really, because this is not a trading thing. So, good or not so good?
I think you need to judge it on morale.
Okay.
I feel morale is very low.
Right. Well,
and I feel around the second going into the third week, it really dips low.
Okay. And how do we end up the month, up or down? Morale is good, morale is not so good.
It's a bit better towards the end of the month, but I don't know. I can feel the struggle.
Which week would you say would be the best week then? The first, the second, or the third, or the fourth?
Maybe the end of the first going into the second.
Right.
That's what I'm getting, but you know, this is hard to gauge because there's so many factors in play, right? We're talking about a whole country. You're talking about the NHS, the financial systems, the councils. There you go. But it's, yeah, that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
It did. And this part towards the end of the month, that's when people start getting notifications about, oh, well, you know, into the new tax year, we're going to make cuts here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And also your taxes are going to increase. I felt that very strongly. Your bills are going up, but your wages are going down because the pound feels like it's weaker, feels like it's just not worth as much. It's not good. It's not good. And of course, in the UK, where you're struggling with all the energy prices, you know, it rarely warms up in March. Like we're already in spring here. The blossoms are on the trees. Everything's turning green. The weather's been warm. We're getting the rain. You know, your cold weather over there really doesn't end until May. Certainly by my standards. I had my heating on until May. It's not looking good. And I think this is where you're going to see the UK going into the rest of this year. And whereas other countries, particularly in Europe, are starting to pull themselves out of this recession, but making strides and, you know, trying to get out of it. And the UK just isn't. It's staying flat. This is where the UK is going to be left behind. When you look a couple of years out, unless you have some massive radical change in government that is for the UK, that is going to push it forward, you're going to see the UK economically is going to be, you know, left standing. You know, everybody else is taken off. Germany's recovered. France is on the road to recovery. The Netherlands, Belgium, all those places, they're starting to enjoy life again. And that UK is left in the dust. It's not looking good. Any thoughts, feelings, or opinions from you, Mr. Shakespeare?
No, I just wanted to try this one. I mean, this is the first one to get the ball rolling. We'll try for, you know, like with all these ones, you know, I'm putting things out there to try them, and then some of them will have to work on them a bit more than others. This is one that will need a bit more work, but it's okay. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, this red could indicate as well. It just came into my head. Excuse me. This red could indicate where people are doing tax harvesting as well. They're selling off to you know, to take the losses as a tax break, but of course then they're reinvesting, you know, back in. So it'll be interesting to see what we get for April.
Yeah.
Wow. You know what we should do?
What should we do, Liz?
Ideas. There's so many ideas. I would love to do a chart on the NHS.
Okay.
I really would.
We probably can find out. Yeah. That's. I mean, that started on whatever day in 1948. We could find. I'll make a note of that. All right.
And this, you know, Look, no healthcare system is perfect. And I understand that, right? It really isn't. The American system, wherever you are, it's never perfect. But I think COVID pretty much like crucified the NHS. It almost destroyed it. I don't even know how it's still functioning. But anyway, I would love to do a probe on the National Health Service someday, and we could do charts on that just to see where it's going, you know, because you could keep pouring money and money and money and money into the National Health Service, and that money is just evaporated, right? Because you've basically taken away all the private stuff. I'm not saying completely, but you have no private money really coming in. Your equipment, I'm sorry, but your equipment is so outdated. I remember going to the hospital in London years ago, and I needed an ultrasound, right? It was when I was pregnant with my first child. I was having all sorts of complications. And the doctor, who was so nice, she says, "I'm so sorry." And I'm in a big London hospital. "I'm so sorry. We only have one ultrasound machine for the entire hospital, and it's currently in use." What? What? You're kidding, right? Anyway. All right. Well, let's stop this one here.